Let's give it up to the youth. Loyal to the squad if we win or we lose. It is in our veins, that orange and the green running through and through. Cause you know we want it. Your squad versus ours, now they don't really want it. Our pedigree's deep with pros in abundance. Get ready for the storm cause the hurricane's coming. Let's give it up to the youth. Loyal to the squad if we win or we lose. It is in our veins, that orange and the green running through and through. Cause you know we want it. Your squad versus ours, now they don't really want it. Our pedigree's deep with pros in abundance. Get ready for the storm cause the hurricane's coming.
The regular season for the Miami Hurricanes has come and gone with the last game of the season against Boston College, which showed Miami put on an offensive onslaught. Now, last week, we know Miami lost a close game to Louisville with the return of Tyler Van Dyke. But the Miami Hurricanes are already bowl eligible. So therefore, with that being said, they was able to put on a performance that has not been seen since the first 4 games of the season by beating BC 45-20. Now, high, Tyler Van Dyke played pretty well. He played pretty well this game. He definitely, to me, I felt like Miami should have played like this all year. There was games this year that the Miami Hurricanes, but on a more serious note, I found out today that Rashard Smith and Jacoby George were suspended for the first quarter because of the incident in the last game against Louisville by getting sportsmanlike penalties. So they was out for the first game. But nevertheless, Tyler Van Dyke threw for 290, 2 touchdowns. He wasn't sacked at all. So that was a good thing. Henry Parrish came in. He did some great things. Haven't seen Henry Parrish since early in the season, really, because it was going more with A.J. Allen and Mark Fletcher and Don Chaney a little bit more throughout the year. I think you saw a little bit of Chris Johnson Jr. early in the season. Some thought that Ja'Cory Brown would get some burn in this game, but apparently we don't know. It all depends on if Tyler Van Dyke decides to transfer after this game or go pro, whatever the case might be, and not play in the bowl game. And if that's the case, then Mario could turn to Ja'Cory Brown or turn to another prospect on the roster. But nevertheless, Henry Parrish Jr. had 111 yards on 11 carries. Allen had 68 on 9 carries. Fletcher didn't play he didn't dominate as he did the last game against Louisville. He only had 44 yards. When Tyler Van Dyke used his legs a little bit, he had 9 yards. He wasn't sacked, none. So, and Chaney only had 11 yards. Now, the passing game was clicking. The passing game was really clicking against BC. BC scored the first touchdown. They drove straight down the field, scored the first touchdown right off the bat. And I was kind of like waiting, wondering why Miami was playing so loose against BC. But after that first touchdown, Miami just took control. The offense took ahead. Fletcher had a 1-yard touchdown run, made it 7-7. Then Miami went down there. Henry Parrish had a 15-yard run that made it 13-7. Tyler Van Dyke threw a 10-yard pass to Kobe Young that made it 21-7. In the second, before halftime, Miami just kept piling it on. They went up 28-7 with a 9. for 24 20 that made it 28-14. But just like as always, Miami went right back down the field. Taliban threw a pass to Jacoby George for 4 yards. That made it 35-14 at that moment. Fourth quarter, Morales kicked a 26-yard field goal that made it 38-14 at that moment in time. So if you notice, Miami, they really didn't punt much. Every time they got an opportunity to go up down the field, they scored. And this is something that we was looking for the Miami Hurricanes to do all season long. They had opportunities against North Carolina, the debacle against Georgia Tech, NC State, Louisville. These all games that Miami should have won. 4 games they could have won, and their record could have been a little bit way better. Probably got a real good bowl game. Then Boston College ended up scoring again, made it 21-38, and then Allen, he came in the game. He ran for 30 yards, which I think he wasn't trying to score at that moment, but he ended up scoring anyway, and it made it 45-20. So that was pretty much where it was. The Hurricanes only had like 2 sacks on the day, but they kind of like made BC ran a little bit more. They ran around a little bit more. It wasn't, to me, I don't think it was too much big of a deal. Now, Miami did control the game a lot because they had almost 40 minutes of time of possession to 22 of Boston College. So Boston College was trying to move fast, but they kept going with a lot of 3 and outs. They had to punt the ball to Miami. So Miami kind of controlled the game with a lot of run and a lot of pass play. So, and then Miami scored on top of that. Miami accumulated over 532 yards today in this game. And like I said, I don't even know where this came from. Why this all of a sudden went pretty tough with Florida State. Oh, again, we could have won that. That was another game that we could have won against Florida State. That game was close, but Emory Williams have started that game. So Miami has some close games this year, but a lot of their losses came on mistakes, turning the ball over, especially Tyler Van Dyke, and then him getting hurt and whatever the case might be. So as a Miami Hurricane fan and as Dallas Miami fans, you kind of see the frustration of this year, how this team was continue to win up and down, and all of a sudden the last game of the season they just pour all of this offense out of nowhere, something that should have been done early in the season. You know what I'm saying? Now Miami did pass for over 290 yards, and all of that was, like I said, was Tyler Van Dyke. They did have over 240 yards rushing. They did give up 143 yards to Boston College because Miami was they are pretty good against the run. Now, surprisingly, Miami had 27 first downs. I mean, they almost had 30 first downs in the game to Boston College 15. They almost doubled that, they first downs. That's crazy. Penalty-wise, Miami played almost a flawless, clean game. They only had 3 penalties. So that was something good to see from those Miami, more discipline. And I think, coming from that Florida State game and that Louisville game, you started to see Miami playing a little bit more physical, a little bit more together. They just couldn't get over the hump. Now, I'm not going to do a look ahead video for Miami yet until after the bowl game. So once I see what a bowl game is start, I'll probably drop little video here and there for y'all, just to, you know, what's going on with Miami, especially with recruiting and all of that stuff like that. So I probably will continue to do that much, but just, you know, just follow them up, because right now basketball season, football season about over. So my transition to basketball is going to be a little bit more, because I'll be tackling. So, well, anyway, but, and then also Miami didn't turn the ball over. That's another plus. They didn't get sacked. That's another plus. So 3 pluses in this game was penalties, turnovers, and sacks. That is something that Miami needs to build on going forward, especially in the bowl game. Depends on who they get matched up with. Some say they might get matched up with SMU. I mean, that would be crazy, because then we don't know. But we will see if Taliban does play in the bowl. We'll know later on, because the bowl announcements probably will be after the SEC turn, not the SEC, but all the conference championships, because next week Florida State and Louisville will play, and then you'll have all of that stuff laid out. Miami's total plays of the game, 76-51. So, like I said, man, Miami has, I think this is the most complete game from Miami this season. And something that we needed. I mean, you know, going in, and we had, like I said, we have not played this way since the first 4 games of the season. When Miami went on that bye week and came back against Georgia Tech, we fell apart. And then they did something that they should have did in the Georgia Tech game. They kneeled down, but you already blew the team out. So what difference does it make of really kneeling down? So Miami's the lows allowed by Miami were 20 points versus Clemson, NC State, and 230 yards against the Tar Heels in the game versus Columbia, only 106 yards total in the fourth quarter. Miami led 35-14 at that time. But like I said, this is some, hopefully getting another quarterback in, or turn it over to Jacoby George. Whoever it is, they got something to build on, especially with the 2024 recruits coming in to build on this class, and then the 2025 class coming behind them. Miami has something to build. I think if Miami addressed the tight end position going into next season, and then they address the quarterback, get a real quarterback, somebody that, you know, could really put this team over the top. They already got the running game. They already got the offensive line, and they're going to build up on that on the defense. And if, you know, so this is going to be something that Miami could really build on and hopefully make the playoff next year. So that's going to be Miami. Only won 5 games last year. They 7 more. It could have been 9 or 10 games actually this year. But, you know, I think all in all, you know, Miami has a lot to, like I said, they do have a lot to build on. They have a lot to build on. This program, I know a lot of people was beating up Mario Cristobal all season and saying he can't win the big game or he ain't that kind of coach. I think once he get the players in the way he wants to, you'll see a different Miami Hurricane. Then a lot of people going to be singing Mario's praises and stuff like that. So you know how all that go. Fan expectation is something different now in the era of football, you know, in sports period, because they definitely trying to, teams want to win now. That's how high it is. But nevertheless, the Miami Hurricanes end of the season, we'll be going to a bowl. Hopefully they will announce it up, and then I will do a preview of that game. And most likely I will do a live stream of that bowl game. Because that'll be the last game of the Miami Hurricane season completely. And then we go into has been a really wild year for the Miami Hurricanes. But there has been a lot to improve on for the Miami Hurricanes, a lot to look forward to. So take this last win, savor it, go into the bowl, we win, be 8-5. Hey, that'll be this will be a really productive season, say the least, with some good and some bad. You could take it for some good and the bad. But again, this your boy Martin for LiveWire Sports Media. You can catch me on YouTube, LiveWire Sports Media. You can catch me on Instagram, LiveWire Sports Media. You can catch me on Twitter, LiveWire Sports Media. Also, you could catch me on TikTok, also LiveWire Sports Media, for all Miami Hurricanes and other sport contents that I cover for my team. If you look at my template down there, you'll see I cover the Bulls, the Commanders, the Braves, and the Canes. So therefore, until then, happy holidays. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.